Southwest Airlines, new rapid rewards, unlimited reward seats, and no blackout dates. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. And by Steak and Shake, life needs flavor. Mizzou Day here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Glad that you're with us. 6:15 first pitch, so the sun could play a factor here in the first couple of innings, especially for the right fielder. And tonight for the Cardinals, that is John Jay. The Cardinals lost last night by the score of 5-4. And a look at the Toronto Blue Jays batting order. This lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. Janelle Escobar, then Aaron Hill, and Jose Bautista hit his 23rd home run last night. Then Lynn, ARENCIBIA, Rivera, Encarnacion, Davis, and Villanueva. Scouting report here on Jaime Garcia.
Yeah, the real key for Garcia is to keep his pitch count low. He's had a hard time getting into the 7th and 8th inning in his last 3 outings. Everything he throws moves. Capable of a shutdown outing. We've seen him do it before, 2 shutouts this season. I expect one of those outings tonight from him.
And the defense behind the lefty Garcia here tonight. Holiday, Rasmus, and Jay in the outfield. It's Descalso, Terrio, Schumacher, and Berkman along the infield. And our battery tonight, Garcia and Molina. That's presented by Dobbs. And Jaime Garcia at home, Rick, just seems like he is a different pitcher in a positive way for a Cardinal fan.
Feels very comfortable here at Busch Stadium, and the results have been outstanding. And again, I just think Garcia is capable of being one of the best pitchers in this game right now. He's got that kind of stuff. We just need him to be a little bit more consistent. And the real problem is too many pitches in innings 1, 2, 3, and 4, so we don't see him in 7, 8, and 9.
So home games, he is 4-0, .81 ERA. The 1-0 pitch, and a little chopper towards short, handled by Terrio, and he makes the play. And it brings in Hill, 1 out. Some of the Cardinals have gone back to showing the stirrups. Yadier Molina has done that. Right side of the infield has done that. And Matt Holliday as well. I like that look. Old-time baseball right there. Even the stirrups are showing.
I think you have to have the right shoes to go with the stirrups, though, don't you?
And I know the shoe that you're talking about is being worn at first base.
Yeah, that I'm sorry, that just doesn't match, does it? I mean, I'm no fashion consultant.
But you just don't like it.
Clearly.
But you don't like it.
But Lance may want to go to one.
Okay. But Lance had the odd look on, he had the pink shoes. Mother's Day, he had the pink wristbands.
And he's the author of the Turtleneck Day out in Los Angeles.
And then you have that look by Jaime Garcia.
A little hipper.
2 balls and 1 strike on Aaron Hill. Popped up to the right side and out of play. It's 77 degrees here in St. Louis. Gorgeous night for baseball.
I've always wondered with that new look that Garcia has with his pants, a lot of players obviously do it that way, how that does not bother you. I mean, I could just see you almost catching some cloth at the bottom near your ankle on a movement that you might make, even a pitch. It just seems like an accident waiting to happen to me.
And what you're talking about is maybe the cleat getting caught in the uniform.
Sure.
But that is the look of many players now. The 2-2 pitch.
George Hendrick was way ahead of his time.
And when you talk about the hats, Colby has got the look of many college players with the hat. No bend in the. There you go. You see his cap, and there's no bend in it. And that's a ball taken high. 1 out walk to Hill, and it brings in Bautista. Rick, what have we learned about Bautista outside the fact that he's turned into a premier hitter in this league?
Well, we've learned that he has power to all fields, and we saw that last night with his home run to right. And we also learned, I think, by his comments in the paper today that he's a smart hitter. He knew that Fernando Salas was not afraid to throw fastballs late in games, and that's what he was sitting on. And he said he'd seen some video, and so this is not just a guy that has recreated himself in terms of his stance. I think he has committed himself to being an elite level hitter, and the results are certainly there.
Short lead at first by Hill, and Bautista breaks his bat, picks up a base hit into shallow right center field, and Hill is on his way to third. Runners at first and third. Since he moved to the American League, our Toyota keys to the game, Jose Bautista.
Numbers pretty good, actually, when he was with Pittsburgh as well. Hit over 300 there, 4 home runs in 139 at-bats, and just a small sample size. Certainly, he has become a different hitter with Toronto. Really started about a year and a half ago with him. And he has just continued to carry on that new batting stance. He's staying back more. He does kind of that little movement at the beginning of his stride, but he's been more under control last year and a half.
1 out, runners at the corners, and a swing and a miss. Rick, you were talking about even breaking down the numbers further with Bautista. You take away a few months that he's had the last 2 seasons, and it's eye-popping.
Only 4 home runs the first couple of months last year. It just all came after April and May, and he got to 54. And it's just incredible that he would get so many in that period of time. And interesting about Bautista, I'm told that he really found the power stroke the year before, the last month of the season. And Cito Gaston encouraged him to play winter ball, even though he was a veteran player, because he said, you found something unique and different here. You need to keep that timing, and you need to keep playing all winter long and bring it into the next year, and that's what he did.
Amazing. 0-2 the count on Adam Lynn. I asked Al last night if he had seen anything like it, could compare the jump in production to anything he's seen. And he said absolutely not. He said the only one that comes to mind is Brady Anderson, but that was 1 year and over.
I can't think of any.
It truly is remarkable. Here's an 0-2 pitch by Garcia. Got a big strikeout. First of the night for Jaime Garcia.
Garcia, with that great movement, can often get hitters to swing at pitches that are not strikes. This one a cutter that's down and away, way off the plate. And then he goes back out there again. Well, if he did it twice, maybe if I did it a third time, you think he'd swing again? Yeah, he did. All 3 cutters, all 3 pitches away.
2 outs and runners at the corners. Jack Lingle is watching tonight down in Texas. Big Cardinal fan. Generations of Lingles been taking in Cardinal baseball over the years. Two outs. Let's see if Garcia can't get out of this jam. One ball, one strike. Last night we saw the lights go out here at Busch Stadium for the second time. First time was against the Giants. Brian Wilson was on the mound last night before a pitch had been thrown by Fernando Salas. First delay 16 minutes. The one last night was 13. A 1-1 pitch. In the air, left field. Holiday backing up a step or two, puts it away. Garcia gets out of a first inning jam. Cardinals coming up in their half of the first. Runners left on base in the top of the first. And the Cardinals coming up for the first time tonight with this lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Terrio, Jay, Holiday, Berkman, Rasmus, Molina, Descalso, Garcia, and Schumacher. Southwest Airlines starting lineup. And the Cardinals face a former Milwaukee Brewer, that's Carlos Villanueva.
And we've seen him many times before, mostly out of the bullpen, but he's become a starter. He's a 4-pitch pitcher. I'm told he's very well prepared and professional. He is as ready for this start as you can possibly be, and he's not afraid to throw his off-speed pitches, particularly his changeup, at any time, any count.
First pitch to Terrio is taken for a strike. Rick, at what point do you do too much preparation if you're a pitcher and you say, you know what, they still have to beat my best stuff? Why do I always have to cater to what I'm seeing on film or a scouting report? I'm not too bad either. I'm in the big leagues.
I heard Mike Shannon talking about Greg Maddux, and he said that he would listen to the reports, and then after the meeting was over, he'd say, okay, here's what I'm going to do. And so you listen, because you might get a nugget in there, and if you're unsure, then that's the way you lean. But you can't fully go away from what you do. Been in those meetings before, Dan, where they say, whatever you do, don't throw this guy a changeup. It's like, well, that's what I got. So I guess I'm done. I mean, you can't. You just have to find a way to adjust. Now, if you know a guy is a low ball hitter, for example, you don't become a high ball pitcher if that's what you do. You just throw it lower, and because he's going to like the ball down in the zone. So you can get some nuggets. You have to adapt it to your style.
3-2 here on Ryan Terrio. Terrio hitting .295, 1 home run, and he's driven in 26 this year. Full count delivery on its way. Base hit, Ryan Terrio. One thing he has done, he's gotten on base an awful lot this year, and he's also been working the counts. Leadoff base hit from Ryan Terrio. Rivera, Davis, Bautista in the outfield. Encarnacion, Escobar, Hill, and Lind. And there's a look at your battery tonight that's presented by Dobbs. Here's John Jay, who's hitting .299. 5 home runs, and he has driven in 17. That's a base hit into right field. Terrio around second, on his way to third. First and third, and nobody out. The Cardinals half of the first.
Well, you said Terrio's been getting on a lot. So has John Jay. Both these guys at the top of the lineup have been outstanding table setters. For the middle of the lineup, our Plaza Tire Foxmo shows the swing, the sweet swing of John Jay. Why left-handers swings, Dan, just look better than right-handers? I don't know what it is about a left-hander. They just look to have great swings. You think of Jim Edmonds and J.D. Drew and so many left-handers that have smooth. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. I like this guy's swing, by the way.
But I don't think you'd say that this is fluid or smooth.
No, it's violent, yes, and harsh.
And we like it.
Yes.
Homered here last night. And Matt Holliday enters tonight. 24 plate appearances short of qualifying for the batting leaders. And he's 3 for 7 with a pair of homers against Villanueva in his career. 1 shy of 10 home runs this year. Last night, that home run stayed on the same plane, and then it just went over the wall. And that wasn't like your high towering fly ball. That was just a line drive that turned into a home run.
We'd be exaggerating if we said the shortstop jumped to try to catch it, but
you get
that's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah. Here's a 1-1 pitch to Matt Holliday. Holliday bounces into a double play, but a run will score. 6-4-3 on the double play. Jay took out the second baseman. Run scores to make it 1-0 on a hard hit ball off the bat of Matt Holliday. Ryan Terrio scoring from third, safe at home, safe and secure, New York Life. Lance Berkman, tough night in game one. Struck out 3 times, hitless. And the first pitch is in the dirt. Also had a drop in foul territory, which was a tough play at first base to come up with, but it was just one of those kind of nights for Lance, and he has not had many of those. That catches the outside corner.
We were teasing Lance about the style that he's wearing, the shoes and the socks, and certainly you wouldn't put that in the cover of GQ magazine, but you appreciate the attitude and the kind of youthfulness of Lance Berkman. He's not afraid to just kind of try something different to get back on track, and I think he's been a kind of a lightening up addition to this Cardinal team and to their clubhouse, to their trips. Like having him around.
Here's a 2-1 pitch. I asked Berkman about his personality with Tony La Russa, and he said the one thing he noticed when he was in Houston, he said you look in that dugout in the corner and you see a guy with the dark sunglasses. He's stoic, statuesque, if you will. You know, he doesn't move, and he said the one thing that he's learned is that he's got a great sense of humor behind the scenes.
No doubt.
And Lance said he had no idea that that would be the case, and he also said he fit right in from day one. And the reason being is that he played so many games against the Cardinals, whether it be postseason, regular season, that he felt at home here.
Tony does have a very good sense of humor, but once the game starts, he does not allow himself to go in that direction. That's not his comfort zone. That's not how he competes. But I think he appreciates how Berkman still is ready to play.
And the catch made on a line drive out to left by Juan Rivera. Cardinals grab an early lead. It's 1-0. Mizzou night here at Busch Stadium on Fox Sports Midwest. Another chance for you, by the way, to be a part of our broadcast comes tomorrow. Before the first pitch, we'll answer your questions about the Cardinals. Go to Facebook.com/Fox Sports Midwest to submit your question, and then watch tomorrow at 1 p.m. You'll be a part of that, I assume.
Of course.
You and the cat. Maybe Cal.
Cal will be in on that.
Maybe Pat.
We're all so social, aren't we?
No question. Part of social media. You were on Facebook. You're on Twitter.
Yes, yes.
And here is Juan Rivera.
Privately on Facebook, though, I should say, before anybody tries to hop on with me. Just with my family. So they know what I'm doing. And vice versa.
You've got kids that are old enough now, you better keep an eye on them.
Well, I wanted to get to the point where they're keeping an eye on me.
So that's what happens. Point.
Yes, you're right about that.
1 ball, 1 strike. Here on Juan Rivera, longtime Angel. It's a fly ball into right. John Jay makes the catch. The Cardinals have signed their top pick, second baseman. He'll report to Quad Cities on Monday. That's Colton Wong, and we'll have him up here in the broadcast booth. Also, we'll have a visit with Frank Haith at some point tonight, the Missouri head basketball coach. Looking forward to that. You know, Frank and the Missouri program has really gone to great lengths to provide whatever they can to the folks in Joplin. Matter of fact, he's talked about, and I'll ask him about it, but going to the NCAA and trying to have a fundraiser in Joplin, an exhibition game. Catch made by Colby Rasmus. So we'll talk about that with the new head coach, Frank Haith. Frank Haith threw out the first pitch, Rick, and the guy that I know wanted to catch him, I'm not sure if he did, was John Jay, University of Miami product. Knows all about Frank and his program. And Frank goes from University of Miami, where there's not a lot of fan support, you know, there's not a big following of college basketball down there, and then to Columbia, Missouri, and that place will be rocking before you know it.
And speaking of John Jay and social media, John is one of those tweeters, a regular tweeter, and boy, he really is promoting University of Miami every chance he gets.
Descalso, how about that play at third base? Outstanding yet again from Daniel Descalso. Ball tonight is brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at Lumiere Casino. It's now open, a sports bar for everyone. By Taco Bell, right now offering $20 admission vouchers to Live Nation concerts. And for all the reasons you invest, mutual funds from Goldman Sachs. Rick Horton, Dan McLaughlin with you here at Busch Stadium, and here's Colby Rasmus.
Alumni night at the ballpark, Dan. There's a number of alumni, former Cardinal players that live in the St. Louis area. I believe the number's over 50 now. Maybe it's closer to 70, but a lot of the players, former players and their families are here at the ballpark sharing hopefully a Cardinal victory together. And you know, you have the great history of what it means to have worn the birds on the bat, and it's a great uniter, and so many of us still feel a part of this organization because we had that chance to be a Cardinal once.
And Rasmus pulls it foul. Remember, he homered last night, breaks his bat. The Cardinals do a great job from an organization standpoint of reaching out to you. It's a two-way street.
Yeah, it really is a two-way street, and there's players that are participating in the kids clinics that we talk about quite a bit. A number of players are involved in that, and you'll see players here at the ballpark signing autographs. Danny Cox, John Tudor were here this past week. Saw Kerry Robinson here at the ballpark tonight, who is a scout with the Cardinals now, and really just as a kind of a family deal. And like all families, sometimes you have spats here and there, but it's all good.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Colby. Pulls it foul again. I'm curious about this, and I'm not sure if you know or not off the top of your head, but I know when you talk about the Blues, their alumni base is either #1 or #2 in the NHL. But from the perspective of baseball, I'm not sure where the Cardinals would rank.
I would have to say very high.
These guys are
especially transplanted players. Now, you talk about a California team, and the Dodgers maybe are good at that because so many players are from California to begin with. But you're talking about in this alumni group of Cardinal people from everywhere. Kurt Ford's from Mississippi, and Andy Van Slyke's from New York, and Worrell is from California, and Daly's from Oregon, but St. Louis is our home.
And Rasmus grounds out and brings in Molina. What a thrill it must be for these two guys to go head to head, the Molina brothers, as you get a look at Edwin Encarnacion making the play. Mentioned last night, you have 3 brothers that have played in the big leagues, have all won a World Series. Wonder what the odds in Vegas are on that. That is truly amazing. 1 out, nobody on, and the first pitch to Yachty.
That may be the same odds of having 3 brothers playing in the big leagues and being in the same outfield at the same time, and that happened with the Alou brothers.
Yeah.
Matty, Jesus, and Felipe all played in the same outfield, I believe, just for 1 year.
Wow. 1-0 pitch.
I would think there wouldn't have been any communication problems with the Alou brothers and balls hitting the gaps. You'd think they could communicate pretty well. Here's the caught stealing percentage of the 3 Molina brothers, all very, very good. 2008, 2010 for Jose. Benji, a little older, won that title in the early 2000s. So they're not just here, they're good.
1-1 pitch. Molina out in front, changeup. Center field, and the catch is made. Cardinals are pleased to offer fan-friendly values throughout this season. If you're looking for ways to save cash or find a great value at the ballpark, just go to the Fan Value Corner at Cardinals.com. By the way, tomorrow, dynamic pricing for some tickets. There are $20 pavilion level tickets tomorrow. Also an ice cream sundae and the kids' duffel bag tomorrow. Do all that for $20. Encarnacion puts it away, and the Cardinals go quietly here in the bottom of the second.
Game 2 of the 3-game series with Toronto. Cardinals with a run in the first inning, and we are joined here in the top of the third as Jaime Garcia goes back to work by the Cardinals' #1 draft choice, Kolten Wong, and congratulations for signing. Good to have you in the house.
Thank you. It's an awesome experience to be here.
I'm sure you're in new territory in a lot of ways, and maybe this is a dream come true for you. Clearly it is, but talk about what this experience has been like for you today.
God, it's a blessing, you know, just to have the opportunity to play for the Cardinals and to start my career. It's something that you can only dream about as a little kid, and to get the chance now, especially with such a prestige organization, you know, I just feel honored and blessed.
Well, Kolten, you certainly earned this opportunity. 358 career batting average at the University of Hawaii, and I know that you were voted the best player in the Cape Cod League, and you and I both played in that same. Where were you in the Cape Cod League, by the way?
Orleans.
Orleans. Just a great league, and the best player there you were. And so you've earned this opportunity. How would you describe yourself as a player?
I'm just someone who's going to go out there and give you 100%. You know, I'm someone who's going to get my jersey dirty every day. I like to grind out games. I like close games. And I like to just, you know, do anything that I can just to make a play or, you know, help the team out in any way. 3-1
to Villanueva, and Garcia walks the pitcher here to lead off the top of the third. I can tell you, Kolten, Cardinal fans love to hear that. I mean, if you're a get-dirty kind of player, and we've seen players like that over the years here, and you'll fit right in. How about specifically in terms of your giftedness as a hitter? Do you consider yourself more of a gap hitter, power hitter, or how would you describe yourself?
More of a gap hitter. You know, someone who's going to spray the, you know, I'll spray the lines and, you know, hit the gaps, and that's something that, you know, I pride myself on, and just getting a base and allowing the people behind me to bring me in.
Leadoff walk to Villanueva, visiting with Kolten Wong, the Cardinals' first-round draft choice, who just signed today. And my understanding is that you'll be headed to Quad Cities. Has that been officially announced, or is that maybe just the idea that we're hearing, or what have you been told?
That's where I'm going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you'll do that immediately?
I leave tomorrow night, so I'll be out there tomorrow night, and I'm trying to play Monday, so hopefully I get out there and start playing.
And I bet you can't wait to do that.
Oh, I can't wait to start.
Yeah, I mean, it'll just be a wonderful experience for you, and again, you've earned this right, and you're in a great organization, and you know that by the Cardinals picking you at that level, that they believe that you can come quickly too, and maybe won't be very long before we see you down on this field here.
Absolutely, I hope so.
2-1 to Yunel Escobar. Villanueva the runner at first. Garcia's second walk of the night. As you were growing up and obviously had the gift of baseball, and you probably discovered that early, were you a fan of the game, or any players that you particularly wanted to emulate, wanted to be like?
I kind of like Jimmy Rollins. You know, he was the kind of player I kind of wanted to be like, because I knew I wasn't going to be the tallest guy. So I wanted, you know, to emulate someone who was small but played bigger than their size. And I thought Jimmy Rollins did that, and he did it, you know, with so much swagger and so much confidence, that that's what I want to bring to the game myself.
Another walk for Garcia. 2 walks to lead off the top of the third here, and that's his third walk of the night. And at roughly 5'10", is that what you go, 5'10"? Or are you taller than that?
No, 5'10" is
that's stretching.
Yeah, that's stretching a little bit.
But that's the great thing about this game. I mean, you're a #1 round choice, and you're stretching it to get to 5'10". That's one of the great things about baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited, and you know, I think that's what this Cardinals really liked about me, is that, you know, I'm not the biggest guy, but you know, I play bigger than my size, and you know, I do what I can do for my size.
There's a ground ball to second base. Going to be a tough play for Schumacher. He gets one. Both runners advance. And thinking about your years at the University of Hawaii, you were all WAC conference playing there, and you do understand that St. Louis is not quite as nice as Hawaii. You've got that memo, haven't you?
Yeah, figured it out a little bit. I mean, it's still a beautiful place, though.
It is. It is. Well, if you're looking for the same weather, I'm sorry. Jose Bautista will be walked with first base open. Did some damage here last night. Home run off of Salas was the game winner, and Tony La Russa decides to walk Bautista to load the bases. And we're again visiting with Kolten Wong. And Kolten, you think about your years at Hawaii. What are some things you learned about the game there, and obviously that's a great program, always has been. Hawaii, I think back a number of great players have come from that school. What are some things you learned in your college years?
Just maturity, growing up. And because when I first got there, regular high school season in Hawaii is like 10 games.
Right.
So, you got to get used to the amount of games you play, and also just realizing that, you can't dwell on one at bat. If you have a bad at bat, you just got to, drop it and go to the next one. And, I kind of figured that out, and I think that's what really, got me going.
Were you pretty sure you were going to be a first-round pick? Did you have that in your mind? Was that something the scouts were telling you? I know it's never a sure thing, but is that something you expected when the draft came about?
We had an idea. Thought that, there's a chance that I might go in the first round, but, with the draft and how it is, you can never expect anything. So I wasn't really expecting anything, and when I got the call, it was just an amazing day.
You jumped up and down a little bit, didn't you?
Jumped up and down and cried.
Cried. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. No, I don't blame you. Adam Lind bats with the bases loaded. Villanueva, the runner, at third. Escobar at second. And Jose Batista all reach base via the walk. There's a good slider from Garcia. Strike one to Lind. Lind struck out in the first inning. And he is the only Garcia strikeout, and he needs another one here. He kept getting Lind, but chasing that pitch off the plate. And we'll see if he makes an adjustment. Cardinals playing for the double play at short and second base. 1-1 to Lind. Well, Colton, you said you're going right to Quad Cities. What are your expectations for this year and this summer?
Just, to get the feel of it. Figure out what, minor league ball is all about, and just to get started. I'm just excited to get started and excited to finally start my pro career. It's been a long dream of mine since I can remember, and I'm just ready to go and ready to start my career.
Think you'll have butterflies that first at bat?
Probably birds, maybe. A little bigger.
Now, will it be worse in the fielding side? You're a second baseman, but I understand you've also caught some, played the outfield, so I guess fit right in with this Cardinal bunch we have this year. Everybody plays everywhere, but you kind of have some versatility to you?
Yeah. I mean, I played catcher this year. I played catcher one game, and I played outfield my freshman year, so I kind of, I'm confident I can play anywhere in this field, so we'll just see whatever coach puts me.
1-2 pitch to Lind is hit into center field. It's going to be deep enough to score a run. Rasmus back close to the track, now on the track. And the Blue Jays are going to tie this game. Sacrifice fly for Adam Lind. 1-1 here in the third inning. Colton Wong is our visitor, first-round draft choice out of the University of Hawaii, and he will be reporting to Quad Cities to begin his pro career. Now, do you know anything about any of the players, the managers, the situation there in Quad Cities, or you're just going to just take that in as you get there?
Just take it in as I get there.
Show up at the park and just do what they tell you.
Exactly.
That's probably pretty good advice.
Exactly.
Good way to start. There's some great folks in this Cardinal minor league system, and all of them very anxious to see you play and be in a Cardinal uniform. Ground ball, tough play by Descalzo. Diving play, comes up with a high throw, and he is safe at first base. Lance Berkman doesn't believe it. The first base umpire, DJ Rayburn, says that a little bit late was Berkman on the play at first base, and they're still arguing about this. That was a great play by Descalzo to get to it. Now Tony La Russa joins in on the conversation, and we'll have to take another look at that and see if Colton Wong thinks he was safer out. We're not going to make him be an umpire yet. He hasn't even been a player yet, but there's the high throw from Descalzo. The leap by Berkman, very close at the base, and Rayburn says save. Bang, bang play. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, he's out on that one.
He's out. Colt, there you have it. There you have it. Colton's got another career if he doesn't make it as a second baseman, but everybody, at least in the Cardinal scouting department, believes that he will, and it won't be very long before we'll see you in a big league uniform. And I assume there's part of you that starts thinking about this big league club here, Colton. You know that there's a Matt Holliday and there's an Albert Pujols, and just the thought of maybe not that far down the road being at a spring training with those guys as teammates.
Yeah, I met Albert Pujols today actually in the training room. Didn't realize he's that big. He's kind of a scary guy. So I mean,
he scared you, huh?
A little bit. You know, he came up from the table and I looked at him and I was kind of drawn back a little bit. I hope this guy doesn't get pissed off at me for being in here or something.
You know, there's some pitchers that have felt that way about Albert. I don't know if I've ever heard that from a future teammate. But he is certainly a big and strong guy, and Cardinals hoping to get him back 5 to 6 weeks from now. Juan Rivera hits this ball deep to left field, and this ball is gone. A 3-run home run by Juan Rivera, and the Blue Jays have gotten to Jaime Garcia here in the third. A close play at first base does not go the Cardinals' way. And Rivera, with his 6th home run of the season, makes it 5-1 Blue Jays. Take one more look at this. Middle in. Rivera strong enough to hit one out of here, and he does. That brings in Edwin Encarnacion. He flew out in the 2nd inning. And a little bit like Jake Westbrook last night, having a bad stretch. Garcia with a bad stretch here in the 3rd. This one's popped into center field. Rasmus should take it. Again, we want to thank Colton Wong for joining us. Congratulations for being a Cardinal. We look forward to seeing you here in St. Louis, Colton.
Thank you very much.
All right. That's Colton Wong. Bad inning for the Cardinals. 5-1 Blue Jays.
This season, subscribe to MLB.tv. Head to Cardinals.com to pick it up. MLB.tv. Baseball is everywhere. How was your visit with Colton Wong?
It was great to visit with him. A delightful young man, and unfortunately just a really frustrating half inning from the Cardinals' point of view. Juan Rivera with the home run, and Garcia 3 walks in the inning, even though one of them was intentional. Just kind of a inning that got away from the Redbirds.
And the first pitch is taken for a ball by Jaime Garcia.
We did miss you, though, Dan, I must say.
I enjoyed myself. I was back there and visiting with Al Raboski, his grandson. Mrs. Raboski was there, too.
Fantastic.
They were over at Marine Week, just across the street. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Al's coming up on the post game. He's had a busy day. He was telling me he was part of the Mission Continues today, and they were
in
Hannibal, Missouri. So he's been busy. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Garcia. Cardinals again using the pitcher batting 8th in this lineup tonight. right down the middle, and a strikeout. First strikeout for Villanueva. Reportedly, Juan gets $1.3 million to report to Quad Cities on Monday. Different generation. Where were you drafted? What round?
I was drafted in the 4th round, and you just. I knew he was smiling for a reason. Now you just gave me another reason why he was smiling the whole time.
You don't blame him, do you?
No, I don't blame. Well, I think when it's all said and done, that might not mean a whole lot to him, because he may be a guy as a first-round player that gets to play this game a long time and make a lot of money in this game. But more importantly, just the joy of that he was expressing of getting a chance to be a professional player. You can just see it in his eyes.
2-0 the count here on Skip Schumacher. He's really starting to heat it up. And I like it when guys sign and don't necessarily have to wait to see what the pecking order is. They know generally what it should be at that spot in the first round, and they get close to that number. Why not sign and get to work as quickly as you can?
And then you get down to the people like me, the 4th rounders, and beyond that. 4th round actually was a surprise to me. I thought I might go in the top 10, but not the 4th. And the minute I got the call about that, I just said, where do I go and how much? I mean, let's go. I mean, you just can't wait for that opportunity to get to do something for a living that you've been doing for fun. And one of the things I appreciated, Dan, about our interview with Adam Wainwright when he was on our telecast the other night is how much he said he's rediscovering how much he loves the game. It's not about his contract and about his awards. It's about just loving the game.
How good is that play there by Aaron Hill to take the hit from Schumacher?
Diving to his right, bouncing up, and another dive.
I'm sure when you're injured like that, and Wainwright has been the top of the world in this game, when you think about closing out a World Series and being a Cy Young Award candidate last few seasons, and to see it taken away, it just has to humble you.
Yeah, it humbles you, and yet I think it's given him a chance to discover his love for the game, and that really was the first words out of his mouth when you asked him, what's he learning? That I love baseball. I mean, not that not something about throwing this pitch in this situation or this. I mean, he was really just big picture, maybe philosophical almost about how much he loves the game. And I think a college player who gets a chance to play the game and get paid is just beside himself excited. I can't believe this is a job. Are you kidding me?
Kind of like being up here.
Exactly.
You see him on TV and you don't realize how big he is in person. Every time I interview him, that's what I take away, is just physically how tall he is. He's a big guy. And then you put him on top of a mound, and that is an intimidating right-hander right there, and Adam Wainwright.
Funny thing that Colton Long said is when he met Albert Pujols before the game, he was scared to death of him. He said, I can't believe how big he is, and the comment was he really didn't want to be in a situation where he ever made him mad.
There's a lot of people that feel that way too.
A lot of pitchers.
We head to the 4th. Glad that you're with us on your home of the Cardinals, also home of Missouri basketball, Fox Sports Midwest, and it's 5-1 in favor of the Blue Jays. And joining us here on Mizzou Night is the head coach of your Missouri Tigers, and that's Frank Haith. Congratulations, Coach, and welcome to the state of Missouri.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been great.
Are you a Cardinal fan now?
I am a Cardinal fan. You know, I was born in New York, but I grew up in North Carolina, so you tend to pull for some teams early on. I was a Met-Yankee fan early on, won that Subway Series, and in North Carolina, our team was Atlanta Braves, so but now I'm a Cardinal fan.
John Jay, University of Miami.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming you knew that.
I did, and his dad is actually someone that's done some work for our team in terms of mentoring our players at Miami, and a great man, and he's a wonderful young man to himself in terms of how obviously he had a big hit there in the first inning.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank Haith is with us, the new basketball coach at Missouri. How did this all unfold for you as far as getting the Missouri job and how it all, basically how it all took place?
You know, obviously, you know, I wasn't looking for a job being at Miami. Went to the Final Four, and it was a job that when it opened up, I had some interest in it, no doubt about it. I didn't know that my involvement and how I was going to get involved, but they reached out to me at the Final Four, and we had a chance to meet and over that weekend, and it just worked out.
Rick Barnes, head coach at Texas, has told me that if there's an assistant that he wanted to see land in one of the bigger programs in the country, he said one of my guys is Frank Haith, and he praises you, and I know you've got a really good relationship with him and understand the landscape of the Big 12.
Well, you know, we had some great teams there at Texas, and Rick and I are great friends. We talk weekly. I don't know if we'll continue to talk weekly, but you know, he's a good man, and like I said, I learned so much from him, as I did from some of my other guys I worked for, Dave Odom and Tony Baroni, and
sure,
I've been blessed to work with some really good basketball coaches.
As far as the team coming back next year, just in general, what you have with talent-wise, what do you think?
Well, we got a good team. We have you know, 7 seniors. These guys have been to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. We're able to add some size a little bit there. George Good coming over to help us a little bit in the paint, and I think that was the one thing we were lacking a little bit. But if we stay healthy, this team should make a nice run in the Big 12.
Frank Haith is with us, the Missouri basketball coach, and one of the things I wanted to point out is that you have set up an exhibition game in Joplin, and you've gotten approval from the NCAA to do this, and you've been very active there, haven't you?
We have. You know, that was really, I'll tell you, the NCAA really stepped up on that one. And then I want to give kudos to the University of Missouri and all their work in trying to help put this together. Mike Aldi kind of spearheaded the moment, and it's going to be great. And one of the things we wanted to get accomplished was have a chance to continue to bring back a little focus to that what happened down there in Joplin, and hopefully this game will be able to do that.
Can you stick around a half inning?
Absolutely.
Frank Haith is with us, the new basketball coach at the University of Missouri. Big Bats coming up. It's 5-1. Gathered together in Arizona for one spectacular night. Tuesday, July 12th at 7, only on Fox. It's the All-Star Game. It's John Jay, Matt Holliday, and Lance Berkman. And it is also Mizzou night here at the ballpark, as Frank Haith has been kind enough to join us, the new Missouri basketball coach. And one of the things I always tell people that haven't had the experience of traveling around and seeing different facilities is that Missouri and their facilities, Mizzou Arena and whatnot, with the basketball program, truly, Coach, I'm sure you're finding it out, it's second to none.
It really is. And I remember playing in the Hearn Center, and I thought that was a pretty impressive place. And you know, since coming back to Missouri, now seeing that the place we play in is unbelievable. And they did it the right way, for sure. And young people, when you recruit student athletes, they like that eye candy, and we've got a special place in Columbia.
I have heard that you are one of the best recruiters in the country. What does it take to be a great recruiter? And you did it both at Texas, most recently at Miami, and other places too.
Well, you know, I don't look at it as recruiting. I look at it as building relationships. You know, we've been very fortunate to get some good players that you know, were highly thought of, but also some players that we made some good decisions on. And I think good recruiters are able to evaluate, not only just get the McDonald's All-Americans, which we were able to do some of those at Texas and at Wake Forest, but we also did a great job evaluating players like a P.J. Tucker or a Josh Howard or Darius Agala, who obviously all those guys weren't McDonald's All-Americans, but ended up playing at a high level in the NBA.
3-2 here on John Jay. You go from the University of Miami, where the focal point for the most part is football. I think you would agree with that. Not known as a basketball school.
Yeah.
You're playing in a ridiculously tough conference. And now you come to a situation with facilities and a place that really takes in basketball and wants to see it succeed. What is that like for you to kind of turn the page on the former job and then welcome this one and the differences between the two?
Well, I'm really excited about the opportunity I have at Missouri, but I also feel very blessed to have had the opportunity at Miami. And I thought we had turned the corner. We've been to one NCAA tournament, but I think this team they have there now is going to be really, really good. You know, we built their program there at Miami. Before I first got the job, we joined the Atlantic Coast Conference. We didn't have the tradition as the other teams in that league. And but now we're at a place where there is a lot of tradition. They've gone to 3 straight NCAA tournaments. Put that in comparison, the University of Miami's only been to 6 NCAA tournaments in the history of the school. So we're very fortunate to have the opportunity in Missouri, where I think we're at a place where we can win a national championship. I really believe we can win a national championship at the University of Missouri.
Here is Matt Holliday with John Jay at first. Well, one of the things, and I'm sure you've heard this a time or two, is, Coach, we just want to see you beat KU. How many times have you heard that since you got the job?
I can't count that high.
You know all about the rivalry.
I do. And I know it's a big part of being the head coach of Missouri, and that is a focus of ours. Is they want to see us beat Kansas, and I do think we have a team that's very capable of beating Kansas this year, and then some other teams. And you know, I would like to think that Illinois game's a pretty big game up here in St. Louis.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, we got some other big games on our schedule, playing Villanova in New York at the Garden, and some other big teams in our league. So I do think this year, this ball club we have right now is very capable of beating anybody on our schedule.
Matt Holliday at the plate. No balls, 1 strike. I'm curious if you've had the chance to reach out, vice versa, he to you, Mike Anderson, and also any conversations with the Hall of Famer Norm Stewart.
I have. I've had conversations with both. Coach Stewart and I've spoken on a couple of occasions, and we're trying to get together for dinner, and we're trying to work it out. But he's given me some really good advice early on. And one of the things he told me, he says, Frank, listen, you can be the best coach in America. If you don't get any players, you're not going to win. So I understand that. And Mike Anderson's one of my dear friends. He and I have, matter of fact, we had dinner together about 2 nights ago, and he was back in Columbia, and you know, obviously he knows his team very well, and he allowed me to pick his brain a little bit, and been very good to me in that regards.
0-2 pitch, hit out to center field. Davis will make the catch with that good speed out there. And back to first goes John Jay. Now, Mike Anderson plays that up-tempo style. Try to describe to Missouri basketball fans out there that kind of style and what you'll do next year.
Well, I think in terms of offensively, Dan, we would love to score in the first 6-7 seconds of the shot clock. But if we don't, we really want to play inside out. We want to have great spacing. I like player movement, ball movement. All those things are very important. And, you know, in clutch situations, we'll have some sets because we'll want certain guys taking the shots. I like to dictate offensively sometimes who takes a shot, and, you know, and it's not quite equal opportunity offense at times. And we want, you know, Marcus Devin, if he's playing very well, we want to get him a shot. And defensively, you know, we'll continue with pressure. It may not always be full court. It'll be at different levels. You may be three-quarter court, but definitely I think defensively it starts from the half court, and we can work our way out. And we got to be a real good half-court defensive team.
One out and a runner at first. One ball and no strikes here on Lance Berkman. Lined out to left his first time up. Frank Haith, the Missouri basketball coach, is with us. 5-1 in favor of Toronto. Frank, we probably should have started our interview with this. How about your family? Tell us a little bit about the background with you and your family, and the transition. It can't be easy, uprooting your family and coming to a new city.
Well, my wife and I have moved a couple times over the years. She's been through 25 years, and we have a son who's 17. That was the toughest one because he was going into his senior year, and he plays a little basketball, and his team won districts last year. And but he's adjusted very well so far. And then I have a 7-year-old daughter, Brianna, who's basically in charge of everything. So
isn't that the case with all 7-year-olds?
She runs the house. There's no doubt about that.
Now the 17-year-old, just how good is he?
No, he's a coach's son that play. You know, I like to tell him he's a driveway shooter, but he can shoot the ball a little bit. So he's a good little player.
Here is Colby Rasmus. How about your impression of just coming here to Busch Stadium and seeing the sea of red too?
This is unbelievable. I mean, what a beautiful ballpark, and been very impressed with just how things are run here, and a great turnout tonight, and what a beautiful night too to see a ball game.
And you're going to see that with the black and gold of Mizzou, and before you know it, football will be here. And when that happens, before you know it, you're working out in the fall.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. As a coaches, we're looking forward to the opportunity, and particularly with me, this is our first year, and so you're looking at a different challenge, a different opportunity. So I'm excited about the start of the season.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Colby Rasmus. A pickoff play, and back at first is John Jay. What did you tell the kids that had a chance to leave, Coach, or transfer, or maybe they were upset over what was going on? What did you do to sell them to say, hey, stay here, we're going in the right direction?
I wanted to do is just give them a chance to get to know me in terms of listen to and how we're going to play, because that's what they want to know. How are you going to play? How are you going to utilize them? It's about just spending time with them. And I think the thing that we try to stress with our guys is we're going to coach them, but we want to have a relationship with them off the court too. And those guys have been like sponges. We had some time there, about 2 or 3 weeks in the spring. We can work with them, and they got a chance to see how we're going to do things a little bit, and it all worked out great. Particularly a guy like Phil Pressey,
sure,
who's thinking about it, and obviously he's a big part of what we're going to do this year at Missouri.
3-1 here on Colby Rasmus. And as far as getting out in the state, and I'm sure this has just been a whirlwind. It's interview after interview, and trying to know where to go and what people to talk to. What have you done as far as that, and getting out and meeting the fan base of Missouri Tiger basketball?
To me, that's just like what this recruiting. We talked about we had to recruit our players first at Missouri to stay. We had to go out and recruit other players because we had scholarships, and we had to recruit a fan base. And we've been all over this state. We're doing the caravans, and we had a Kansas City day in Kansas, and obviously we had a day yesterday at Harpo's, and spent some time meeting a lot of folks. So it's part of the job, but it's also something, a part of the job I look forward to, because particularly Kansas City, Missouri, areas we want to recruit. Kansas City and St. Louis, areas we want to recruit.
How good is the talent, you think, in the state, and in particular here in the city?
Well, in St. Louis, there's very good young talent, and we're excited about getting our feet wet. I know we haven't done as well of late in this city, but trust me, we're going to work our tails off to try to change that a little bit.
2 outs and 2 on, and Yadier Molina is at the plate. For people that don't know, too, how about your coaching staff? Who did you bring on?
We got a great staff. We hired Ernie Nestor, who was at Penn State last year, but Ernie and I worked together at Wake Forest. He's been in the business for over 42 years, just a wealth of experience and just a great teacher. I hired Tim Fuller, who was one of our former players at Wake Forest, who came over to us from Louisville, University of Louisville, where they had a top 10 recruiting class. I think one of the great recruiters in the game. And then we hired Isaac Chu, who was at Murray State with a good buddy of mine, Billy Kennedy, who worked for me at Miami. He's now the head coach of Texas A&M.
Right.
And, you know, Isaac's from Chicago and spent 8 years in Kansas City and in the corporate world. So he has a lot of experience in the Midwest, which I thought was very important as we build our program. And I hired one other guy I want to mention is a guy named TOR Pandoff, our strength coach, who's extremely important in what we do with developing our kids.
Matt Lawrence, is he going to be a part of your staff as well?
Yes, Matt Lawrence is one of our graduate assistants. As you know, obviously he's from St. Louis and had a great career at Missouri, and you know, wants to get into coaching. I think he's going to do a fine job for us.
That's great. Now he could shoot a little bit, Coach.
I know. I've seen him. He could tee it up.
Yes, he could. 5-1 here. 2 balls, no strikes. And this could get interesting with one swing of the bat. And Molina pops one foul and out of play. What do you hear from the fans when you go out and speak or have a chance to mingle with fans at a golf tournament, whatever the case may be? What are they asking of Frank Haith?
You know, fans have been great. I mean, just really welcoming and very supportive, excited about the season. You know, I haven't had one fan. I mean, just everything's been great, and that's been, you know, tells me a lot about the fan base here at Missouri. And I mean, they're excited and they love their basketball, and they're going to root us on.
2-2 is the count here on Yadier Molina. Daniel Descalso is on deck. It was a 5-run top of the third for the Blue Jays to take this 5-1 lead. Our guest is Frank Haith, the new basketball coach at the University of Missouri. There's a look at Rivera, who had that 3-run homer. That made it 5-1. Toronto only 2 base hits here tonight. The Cardinals have out-hit them 3-2, but trail 5-1. Baseball, did you enjoy it growing up, or were you always a basketball guy?
No, I kid our players all the time, and I saw John Wall throw out the first pitch the other night. Most kids today they don't play any other sports, but I played everything. You know, I grew up and I played baseball, basketball, and football. I was a 4-sports guy in high school. I even ran track. I didn't practice track. I just ran in the track meets and stuff. So, but you know, I played a little second and then shortstop, and baseball fan. I mean, and, you know, I was an athlete. I see today guys are just focused on one sport. You don't see many high school kids doing a lot of different sports.
Saw a shot there of Tony La Russa. I'm not sure. Did you have a chance to meet with him?
I didn't, and I wanted to. And you have a lot of. I mean, he's one of the great coaches in all sport, all of sport, and would have loved to have had a chance to pick his brain, but obviously just to shake his hand.
That's the neat thing, too, about a college atmosphere is you and Gary Pinkel and some of the other coaches, Tim Jamison, get together, and all of a sudden you're talking strategy, you're talking about how to deal with kids.
And that's what it's all about. It's all about, I mean, the great coaches are able to motivate and encourage the players. And that's you know, to get the most out of the players, they get them to give the maximum effort. And the greatest coaches are all able to do that.
There's a base hit by Yadier Molina. That scores John Jay to make it 5-2. Frank Haith is a good luck charm here in the bottom of the fourth. Plaza Tire Service, Foxmo. And it comes on a 3-2 pitch. And now with that, the tying run will come to the plate. Well, Coach, we know you are busy. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Let's head to the NCAA tournament, huh?
Let's do that.
Let's win the Big 12. Why not? Let's put some pressure on you.
Win the Big 12. Let's play on that Monday night.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
April. That would be sweet.
Enjoy, Coach.
Appreciate you. Bless you, sir.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Frank Haith, the head coach at the University of Missouri. Now it's Daniel Descalso. Runners at the corners for St. Louis, following the RBI for Yadier Molina, which was number 29. Descalso popped out to third his first time up. He's hitting .241 at the start of play. 1 home run, 21 driven in. And he takes a breaking ball at the knees. Descalso at the center of this game tonight with a great stop. Throw is just a bit high to extend that big third inning. And with that, Rivera came up right after it, popped a 3-run homer. We know Daniel would love to atone for that, but he falls behind 0-2. Marvin Hudson calling balls and strikes. And an 0-2 pitch to Daniel Descalso. Swing and a miss. He strikes out. And they're out of the jam. Cardinals strand 2. They pick up a run. It's 5-2 as we head to the 5th. And many thanks to Frank Haith. And our What's on Tap is brought to you by Budweiser. Romero 6-7 against McClellan, who is 6-3. And Kyle McClellan making his 13th start of the season, 14th appearance tomorrow, first career start against the Blue Jays. That's the Redbird Club just outside where we're at. Air conditioned with the flat screens, different food booths here at Busch Stadium. And again, a reminder, $20 pavilion level seats are available for tomorrow afternoon, part of dynamic pricing. And it's also a Hunter Family Sunday, North Star Ice Cream Day, and the Shop and Save Powerade Kids Duffel Bag. So we'll be busy here tomorrow at the ballpark. Looking forward to seeing Frank Haith conduct Missouri basketball this year. Should have a pretty good team coming back. A little different system.
Yeah, nice to have him up here in the booth. Seems like a outstanding basketball guy, #1, but also appreciate the character that he's going to bring to the program. You know how important that is at college level. You're going to send your kids somewhere. You want them to be with somebody they can trust.
Aaron Hill with a base hit. Second time he's been aboard to go along with a walk. Leadoff hit, and it brings in Jose Bautista. Rick, one of the things that we were told about with Bautista, we want to remind you that on the run at Mobile, 6 is a serious number. You can get 25-cent drinks the next day, all day at On the Run at Mobile. Any 20-ounce coffee, fountain, or frozen drink for just $25. We're serious at On the Run. But one of the things about Bautista, they say, and he's showing bunt, I'd love to see that.
You bet.
Go ahead and bunt. They say watch his hips. They say his hips fly through the zone. He really opens up his hips, and that allows his bat to get through, and it's also improved his bat speed.
Well, he has that leg lift, and we see Matt Holliday do that, and that's the issue that Cito Gaston helped him out with. He was doing it too soon. Gaston said he needed to stay back, wait a little bit longer because he was losing his power. and he's trying to get the right timing of that so he can let the hips get through.
A fly ball into deep right center field. Catch is made by John Jay. And Hill is back to first.
It's really a timing mechanism to allow your body to get the bat head and to open your hips up to get the bat head through the zone at the right time. And the right time is right about there. He just missed that pitch right there thrown by Garcia. That's how he generates his power. As you mentioned, the hips. You think about a golf swing. It's really where you get those 350-yard drives that you hit.
Oh yeah, that's me. That's me. That's Mike Helling, our esteemed producer.
Yep, that's him, all right.
How tough that segment was for Mike Helling. And the reason why is that Mike Helling is a Kansas Jayhawk, and we're interviewing a Missouri Tiger in Frank Haith. He said it was very painful, he said.
Was he speaking in your ear the whole half inning?
He's telling me about the Morris twins and all these different players at KU I need to ask about. And I said, no, it's not happening.
Was he getting into Naismith and all that stuff as well? Did he get
Rock Chalk and everything else? I had to hear it. Allen Fieldhouse. Had a privilege of doing Missouri basketball for a number of years, and there might not be a better facility in the country, newer facilities, than what you see at Mizzou Arena. And I have a chance, as you know, Rick, to go all over the place, and it is unbelievable how nice it is. Adam Lind is at the plate.
Bad ratio, Dan, for the Cardinals in that third inning. 5 runs on 1 hit.
In Toronto, 5 runs. Oh, look at this. Nice play by Berkman on just a total of 3 hits in all tonight.
Toronto out hit the Cardinals last night 12-5. Nice backhand play by Berkman. Makes the only play he can make. That's first base.
Are you a basketball fan?
I love basketball. In fact, growing up, I wanted to play for the Knicks. If you'd have said, what job do you want when you're an adult? If you'd have asked me that when I was 9, I wanted to be Walt Frazier. He was a Midwest guy, played at Southern Illinois.
That's right, played in Carbondale.
And went on to be a great player with the Knicks, one of the best 50 players of all time in the NBA.
So Willis Reed comes rolling out, and you're thinking, that's I got to do that.
I have to grow a little. And I would have been in the NBA, except they made you pass and rebound and play defense. And those were the only 3 things that stopped me.
Those are 3 things you probably have to do. One ball, 1 strike. One and 2. A lot with a little, looking at these two and what they've done. Most home runs with under 200 at bats, 210 at bats this season.
Yeah, and ARENCIBIA, the batter here, actually he was a guy that hit 2 home runs in his first game in the big leagues. Had 4 hits in his first game and 2 home runs. First guy to do that since 1898. How about that for a debut?
Pretty good. Strikeout for Garcia, number 3 tonight. We move to the bottom of the 5th. He'll lead it off when we come back. make their first playoff appearance. You think about some of those teams in the mid to late 80s, very, very good. 1985 ALCS against Kansas City. And this was a team, Rick, you might remember, had back-to-back world championships and drew over 4 million fans. 4 million.
Well, they really got off to an ideal start, didn't they, with their new ballpark?
Now the problem is they compete in the American League East, and baseball's talked about realignment. And one of the teams it certainly would affect in a positive way, you would think, would be the Blue Jays, if that would come to fruition. You know, every year they're talking about 2 teams they have to beat. They know every year it's the Yankees, Red Sox, and we've also seen where Tampa Bay now has really picked things up. Garcia pulls it foul.
And so you're the Baltimore Orioles. Then what do you do? I mean, they've got themselves buried in a big hole as well. And for them to be able to compete with the Yankees and Red Sox, just very hard to imagine. Highest winning percentage in MLB since 2007. No surprises there.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Jaime Garcia.
I asked you, Dan, before our telecast tonight, you had to pick right now who's the World Series favorite right this second, and you and I had the same answer.
Phillies. Pitching. And a very good lineup, too. Garcia to the first baseman, and there's one away. But we saw that pitching up close and personal this week. When you looked at Halladay, Lee, we did not see Hamels, who statistically has been as good as anybody this year.
Here's the great thing, though. If we'd have asked that same question same time last year, neither one of us would have said San Francisco Giants.
Right.
That's what's so fun about this game.
Get in and you never know. When you think about the Cardinals in 06 and their run came down to such good pitching at the back end of that World Series. You have a Cardinal baseball that don't miss discounted Cardinals tickets from Phillips 66 gas when you fill up with 10 gallons or more. Visit Cardinals.com/Phillips 66. 1 out. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Skip. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a grounder left side. Escobar deep in the hole and safe at first is Schumacher. What a play, though, by Escobar, even to make that close.
Sigh of relief. The Skip Schumacher can't believe that it was that close. You know what? You're a shortstop with a good arm. You can't wait to show it off. Pitch high in the zone. He hits the ball on the ground. Look at this arm. Off balance throw. Very, very good play by Escobar. Made it close.
Ryan Theriot at the plate. No balls, 1 strike. Theriot has singled and scored in the first and also flied out to right. Lifts it in the air to center field. Two outs. And here's John Jay. 2 for 2 tonight with a pair of singles. Matt Holliday on deck. 2 outs. Man at first and strike 1.
we were concerned about the pitch count of Garcia. That's been a problem of late for him, but after 5 innings, he's going to have less pitches than Villanueva. Problem is, he had way too many out of the strike zone in the 3rd inning. The 2 leadoff walks really have just done him in so far. The error didn't help. And the home run, of course, didn't help much either.
0-1 pitch now to John Jay. Been out of play, 0-2. Talking about pitch counts, it's at 79 for Villanueva, and Garcia is at 74. A 5-run third, the difference so far here tonight. 0-2 pitch to Jay. This ball game, Rick, could come down to 1 call. You see Villanueva first, second, and third time through lineups, but that bang bang play ruled an error on Daniel Descalso. Tough error because it was a good stop, high throw.
Good play by Berkman. Bang bang play at first, didn't go the Cardinals' way. I have a feeling though this game just has the earmarks of a game that's going to be decided late.
Get into each other's bullpens here. And from the Cardinals' perspective, you wonder about Salas. He's pitched in back-to-back nights. Boggs came in and did a terrific job last night with the bases loaded, 1 out. He had back-to-back strikeouts.
He looked great.
One of his better outings this year. 1-2 the count on John Jay. Villanueva, as you mentioned, is a guy that's worked both in a rotation and a bullpen. If you had to pick out one thing, the difference between the two as far as preparation, what is it?
Yeah, I would say that's a really good question. I would say if you are a starter, you realize that you are the single most important thing that happens that day. And mentally, you've got to gear yourself up to be in a zone for 2 hours. To me, the import of what you do as a starting pitcher, as a reliever, it matters too, but you can get yourself geared up for 5 minutes because as a reliever, basically that's how long you're in. You throw 5 pitches, 6 pitches. Easy to concentrate to me as a reliever, but as a starter, to be able to focus, it's one of the things I said, Dan, as a starter, you have to convince yourself, okay, only 1 day a week do I have to have intense focus for 2 hours. And you just make yourself do that, and just nothing's going to get in the way of that. And some people can't do that, and many pitchers end up relievers because they can never get to that position of concentrating for that long.
Jay strikes out, and that is the 3rd strikeout here tonight. The Cardinals strand a runner, and we move to the 6th inning. It's 5-2. Jose Jimenez, no-hitter against Arizona back in 1999. It's our Schnooks this date in history. It's Tony La Russa hugging George Kissel in that shot. Alberto Castillo.
Jimenez had a great changeup. Awkward motion, great changeup. Some Cardinal fans that want some runs, Dan.
You think about Tony La Russa's run here in St. Louis, 1999. Featured another great run by Mark McGwire after the summer of '70. So that kept the interest of the fans. But after '99, it just seemed like people said, okay, we like the home runs. It's fun to watch, but we also like postseason baseball.
No doubt.
Cardinals went out that offseason, really improved the club. And it changed a lot. Rivera with the pocket hanging out. And a ground ball left side deep in the hole. Terrio, long throw, and he got him. Is it me, or does Terrio look a lot better here the last 7 to 10 days defensively?
No, he does. There's no doubt about it. I think he had one rough game and was really frustrated by that and came out and said, boy, I'm just going to have to turn over a new leaf. He made a couple of diving plays in the hole that next night after making 2 errors, and I think he just may have turned a corner a bit. Now, he's not, again, a guy that's going to have the greatest range of any shortstop in baseball, or the greatest arm for that matter, but you just need him to make the plays. And if he's going to hit 300 at the top of the lineup, Cardinals have needed that. In fact, the search for a leadoff hitter was something that really eluded the Redbirds last year, and I think he's filled that slot very well.
Here's Edwin Encarnacion, the former Red. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Mentioned that he is a former Red, and now occupying his former position in Cincinnati is Scott Rowland. The 2-1 pitch, and that is hit a ton out to left. Holiday on the move, and it's off the base of the wall. Plays it perfectly and fires it back into the infield, and it's a double for Encarnacion.
Look at the Hyundai Foxmo, the extension of Encarnacion, the finish. Actually, his weight came back a little bit, Dan. I think that may be the difference between that ball not being driven out of the ballpark. Almost kind of recoiled a bit. I think he thought that was out, in fact. Holiday made a nice play off the wall, made that play pretty close at second.
Good late tailing action on that pitch. And Jay makes the catch in right. Encarnacion will tag up. So runner at third, 2 down. After the catch by John Jay.
Yeah, and a very simple thing that John Jay does after catches the ball. You get behind the ball if you can, get the ball in as quickly as possible, hit the cutoff man. That's just outfield 101. And you just wonder when an outfielder holds the ball or maybe kind of one-hops the cutoff man. In fact, we saw John Jay do that early in the year. He kind of one-hopped the cutoff man and made a bad throw. I think he's learned from that. Get it in, good firm throw, hit the cutoff man. Really isn't that difficult to do, and you just have to be mentally prepared to do it.
And now it's Villanueva with 2 outs. Blue Jays, by the way, 5-0 in games in which this pitcher has received 4 runs of support in a start. The 0-1 pitch. Grounder that is foul. We saw that Roy Oswalt the other night was hurt, and he will be out apparently until August at the earliest when he would come back. It's a bulging disc.
And how bizarre was that game that as we watched him pitch, you could tell, I mean, it wasn't, again, that difficult to see that he was in some pain and was not throwing correctly, but really they just kind of let him go. And he just finished an inning, came in, didn't go back out for the next inning. I'm just so surprised there was not.
Especially with his history of injury.
Agreed. Albert 8 for 25 with 2 home runs against Villanueva, but is watching.
You would hope that the upcoming road trip, the Cardinals do get a little bit healthier. David Freese and Nick Punto. All Pujols can do is just sit back and watch. As competitive, intense as he is, that cannot be easy. And a swing and a miss. A strikeout for Garcia. That's 4 tonight. Tonight here on Fox Sports Midwest. And it's brought to you by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of day. And by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. Look at the Redbird Club. Really nice place to go here at Busch Stadium. Seats very fairly priced. Flat screen TVs. It's air conditioned up here. And don't forget, tomorrow it's the Powerade Shop and Save bag for kids 15 and under. And again, there are $20 pavilion level seats available for that as part of dynamic pricing. And also it's a Hunter Family Sunday and an ice cream sundae tomorrow. We're getting help from Owen George up here in the booth. As Matt Holliday pulls one fair, it's backhanded by Encarnacion, and they get him by step. Nice play there by Encarnacion.
He had a good at-bat in the top of the inning, and he's hugging the line for Holliday. Playing the line, still a backhand, not an easy play, and a very long throw right on a line the whole way. Barely in fair territory. Knows he's got time to set himself. Nice play.
Very fine play. They were always really high on Encarnacion, Rick. You might remember in Cincinnati, but for whatever reason, it just did not work out. And now he finds himself with the Blue Jays.
He had some outstanding games against the Cardinals. I thought
he really did.
I thought he was a very good hitter, and clutch hitter. He's kind of streaky, though. I mean, a couple of games we saw him go 3 for 3 and have big nights, and then kind of wave at some pitches the next night and just not be the same. And maybe if you watch him over time, you start to get frustrated by that. But still, talented player.
So again, the trade was Encarnacion and Rolen, and since that deal, here's a look at how it's fared for both these teams. Encarnacion with more home runs, but decided advantage for Rolen in RBIs, and watching him play still over at third base. Scott Rolen, one of the best in the business. There's no doubt about that.
Rolen has meant some other things for the Cincinnati Reds beyond those numbers.
Good point. And you're talking about leadership inside that clubhouse, teaching young guys how to be a professional major league player. You know, you hear that term all the time, Rick. In your opinion, what does that mean?
Well, it means playing the game with respect for your opponent, and you respect the game that came before you. You're not the first person to ever wear a uniform, and you won't be the last. And after they take yours off, they'll give it to somebody else and let them play. And not a bad idea to remember that every once in a while.
Isn't it tough, though, when you're 21, 22?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you feel great physically. You got a little, you know, what to you.
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Well, but that's why you need an older player that says, you know, I've seen guys just like you before. I mean, and then they rattle off about 4 of the names, and the guy goes, well, I don't know who they are. And it's like, exactly.
Right. Exactly right. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Berkman. Stop there by Villanueva. It's been a tough series here so far for Lance. Tom Mee, our director. Mike Helling, our producer tonight. Brian McCann, Keith Oberman in the truck. Working very diligently as always. One ball and no strikes with 2 outs. Also a nice note up here from Keith Corn O'Brien. And apparently he got the nickname Corn because of his love of corn every night before he comes to the games. He's a season ticket holder. And Rick, you never know what kind of notes you're going to get up here. But Keith Corn O'Brien.
Dan, you just get the notes, you just read them.
Yeah, absolutely. Big Cardinal fan, though. And it also says that he is related to Keith Oberman in our truck.
Interesting, they have different last names, but sounds like they're related anyway. Cousins, I guess.
I guess so. 2 balls and 1 strike. And that catches the corner, 2-2.
And many have asked, our Keith Oberman in our truck is not the same as the Keith Oberman that other people may know. He's the only Keith Oberman. I guess he's the one we know.
We know, right.
And nobody else knows him, but we know him because he's in the truck all day.
Highly intelligent man, too.
Unbelievably so. Unbelievably so.
2-2. Hopefully Owen George can bring us some good luck in this inning. Here's a 3-2 pitch to Colby Rasmus. A fly ball to Davis in center. Get that makeup speed and puts it away for the out. We head to the 7th, and it's 5-2. are young hockey fans to the Blues Youth Hockey Camp starting on July 25th at the Ice Zone at the St. Louis Mills. It's designed by the Blues. Ultimate mix of hard work and fun. For more information, go to stlouisblues.com. Pooches in the park. Yanel Escobar leads it off. Top of the lineup against Jaime Garcia. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Terrio backs up. And a pick over there by BERKMAN.
He does back up. He makes his a little bit harder. He's got to get the throw rushed a bit in the dirt. Handled well by BERKMAN. BERKMAN showing some agility at first base, Dan. He went up to get a ball earlier on the bad throw from Descalzo. He digs that one out. He made a nice play to his right. Looks pretty comfortable over there.
Rick, do you remember at one point when Lance BERKMAN was playing center field?
I don't remember that.
Played a little center.
Prior to Beltran, I guess.
And, yeah, we've seen him in right. Seen him at first base. Think about the ultimate versatility defensively of a player. Craig Biggio, his former teammate, catcher, center fielder, second baseman. That to me is amazing to see a guy and to do it at the major league level.
Interesting to find out that our #1 pick, Colton Wong, also caught and played the outfield as well as second base at Hawaii. And Cardinals have a lot of players who can play a lot of positions. We've talked about maybe some of them aren't exactly A-plus defenders at those positions, but the versatility still matters. Skip Schumacher has learned to play second base. Really more of an outfielder.
Hit and tough play here for Descalzo. Oh, he nearly threw it away. And it's a base hit for Aaron Hill. There's your versatility. What you talk about here with BERKMAN, some of that agility. This one almost got away.
Actually snow coned it a bit. I'm not sure he knew he caught it, unless he was trying to deke the runner.
Young Cardinal fan taking it all in. No idea about baseball, no idea about the game.
I'm just in a really cool place right now.
That's right. How about a double play ball? Out at second. They turn the double play. Five, 4, 3 here, Rick, on the double play.
Outstanding play by Descalzo to his left. Spins. Double play. Nabs Batista. Tough spot in the lineup. 5-2 Blue Jays. and Garcia are starting pitchers. Both of them have close to 20 of their strikes put in play. More strikes from Villanueva, more pitches from him. 21 were fouled off. Just 10 for Garcia means he was pitching to contact a little bit more. That's why his pitch count is just a tad lower through his 7 innings of work. And the new reliever is John Roush, the tallest pitcher in the history of Major League Baseball. He's got that going for him.
And Yadier Molina hits a fly ball into right field. Bautista makes the catch, and there's one away. Shelby Miller, Rick. A lot of people always curious about his starts. He had one tonight at Double-A. 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 2, struck out 8. Nick Punto played that game and went 1 for 2. I look forward to speaking with Nick when he gets back and saying, you know, hey, how good is this guy Shelby Miller?
Well, he's on a trajectory right now. I mean, he had a good start last year, not a great one. I mean, that's how I would describe when he first came out of the box, but I think he has figured it out. Clearly has a great arm and a lot of promise. Top Cardinal minor league prospect. Don't know how far away he might be. Still very, very young, but if you are dominating in Double-A, you're not that far away.
That's off of Roush. Escobar, no play. Base hit for Descalso.
That's a long way to bend down to catch a ground ball when you're 6'11". Tough to field your position. I'll just use my feet instead and kick it over to the shortstop, except he was going up the middle.
Mark Hamilton will be the pinch hitter.
He's a big dude.
Oh, man, he's huge. Rick, I asked John Mozeliak about Carlos Martinez or even Shelby Miller with the bullpen having the issues that they have. I said, would you even think about possibly bringing those guys up and starting them in the bullpen and just to see what would happen, or to give them a chance? And like you said, once you get to Double-A, you're one call away. You never know. And quickly he said, nope, not a chance.
And didn't really give any hesitation to that answer.
They're going to let those two guys, play down there, pitch down there, and get more seasoning. But it really is a fine line from a management side that you walk, because you don't want a guy to come up here like Clayton did his first time and get buried and then lose that confidence, lose that edge that makes them a top prospect.
Well, I think I understand and agree with why he would say no to that, although I could also understand the question and why people would want to see him. Cardinals starting pitching faltering a bit, and say let's get him up here and maybe get him some innings out of the bullpen, and going to be our starter of the future. But I think you just have to let him develop a bit more.
So the question then becomes, at what point is old enough or ready enough? Good luck trying to answer that.
You rely on your minor league coaches a bit for that answer.
0-2 pitch here to Hamilton. I'm sure he's waiting for that start to come. It's been a shuttle back and forth for him. Cardinals face Romero, a lefty, tomorrow. So we wrap up the homestand. Hamilton lines out to second. There's 2 outs. A reminder that Marines are here in the Gateway City. For a full schedule of events, go to marines.mil/Marine Week schedule.
Ryan Franklin getting loose in the Cardinals bullpen. We should see him in the top of the 8th inning. I think this is a good spot to use Ryan Franklin.
Ground ball sharply hit. Another liner sharply hit to Schumacher. And Franklin is coming in when we come back. Classics. You can vote at MLB.com. And it's the best and greatest moments right now going head-to-head Tuesday, July 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific here on Fox to find out who wins. We're down to the final four. And it's our Chevy call to the pen, and here is Ryan Franklin.
It's good to see Ryan Franklin get in a game here, and I would guess that he is feeling pretty amped up about this opportunity to pitch. We haven't seen him very much of late. It's a fairly close game. Cardinals is trailing by 3 with a couple innings left here, so certainly the game has not been decided yet, so this is not your classic mop-up situation for Franklin. Close enough where he might be feeling a little adrenaline, and he is facing 4, 5, and 6 in the Toronto Blue Jays order. And you just kind of hope for Ryan Franklin that he can figure it out. He says he has found something. Couldn't wait to get back out on the mound to figure out whether or not that's it or not. And it's a big opportunity for him.
This is a big outing.
I think it is.
This is a big outing right here. 5-2 game. And we'll see Franklin pitch in a game that has still something on the line at this point. On 1 pitch to Adam Lind. The flip side of not pitching so much, Rick, I'm sure it's been very tough for Franklin to stay sharp. Pitch on the side all you want, but live action, totally different animal. Breaks his bat, little floater. Descalso diving and makes the catch.
I'm sure there are a number of people in that Cardinal dugout with just holding their breath, hoping that this wasn't a bad start to this inning for Ryan Franklin. He gets a jam shot, almost ends up being a base hit, but Descalso makes a diving play. Very tough play. Great effort on our Foxmo. That would have been a disastrous start for Ryan Franklin. Every little thing matters if you're in his shoes right now.
Here's the catcher. Ground ball to Schumacher. And there's 2 outs. Brings in Rivera, who is grounded to short. Also flied out to right. Hit a 3-run homer, which right now is the difference in this game. Now, you think along with Tony La Russa, Rick, if he's able to get a 1-2-3 inning, does he come back out and pitch the ninth?
I would say he would.
And the reason you bring that up, not even looking at pitch counts, you're just saying, do you give him an inning of confidence and a good one here if he gets the 3rd out?
Yeah, I think you do send him back out again, especially with, I think pitch count does matter a bit. But why use another reliever? I think at this point in his career and this year, he's the guy that's going to have to go 2 innings sometime. So if you need him in that role, you might as well use him in that role.
Grounder too short. Good outing here so far by Franklin. 1-2-3. 6 pitches in the inning. Mizzou night here at Busch Stadium, and it's brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the just right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor. By Bank of America, where ATM deposits are as easy as an infield fly. No deposit slip, no envelope. With Bank of America, member FDIC, and by AT&T. Up the middle, base hit for ARENCIBIA.
Big inning for the Cardinals right here. You got the top of the order. You got 2 more shots at the Blue Jays, but you are at the spot in the order you want to be in to produce a rally. And ARENCIBIA does what he's been doing all year, getting on base in front of the big boppers. That's 2 hits for him tonight, and his average getting close to 300 again.
Here's John Jay. We're in the Cardinals' half of the 8th. They trail by 3 runs, and Jay is hit by the pitch.
Toronto has been pitching John Jay up in the strike zone, trying to get him to chase a pitch up. He did it early, and that location was meant to be up, but he just gets away from him and hits Jay right in the middle of the back. And the Cardinals have exactly what they wanted in this inning. First 2 runners aboard. Bertel is a right-hander. And the left-hander has a lot of consonants in his name. Mark is the left-hander. That's his first name.
No doubles defense right now for Holiday. He could tie it up with 1 swing of the bat. First pitch to him. He's taken for a strike outside.
Not happy with that. We talked about the big strike zone all night long. Holiday has his say. Steps back in the box.
Holiday is 0 for 3 tonight. Busch Stadium is ready to erupt here tonight.
Oh, good pitch to hit right there. Slider in the middle of the plate. Really a mistake. The big right-hander. Could have been a tie game right there.
0-2.
Albert's in it. Looks a little antsy, doesn't he?
He does.
Like he wants to go grab a bat.
A bat is right. 1-2 the count. Roush will step off the rubber.
If anybody could go up there with 1 arm and get a hit in this situation, would be Albert.
Yep. On the inside corner, and Holiday strikes out.
And Holiday is just thrown out of the game by the home plate umpire, Marvin Hudson.
I'm sure Holiday is saying, wait a minute, the first strike was outside, and now you give him the other side of the plate as well.
Well, and that's the problem if you're a hitter. You may say you can take one and expand the zone a bit, but if you expand it the other direction as well, that one clearly inside. And Holiday, again, it's the situation that makes it worse. tying run at the plate, your home run hitter. And here's our Mr. Consonants.
Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Lance Berkman will be your hitter. They bring in the lefty to face him, Mark Zipchinski, and this will be his 35th appearance of the year.
And that turns Lance Berkman to the right side. Matt Holliday, after being struck out, was thrown out of this game. Zepchinski in his third year in the big leagues from Riverside, California. Just 25 years of age.
The tying run at the plate in Berkman. Looking for home run number 19. He has singled here tonight. Berkman bounces it to second base. Out there. And it's a double play for 6-3, and we head to the ninth. It's 5-2 Toronto.
Lottery Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Al Roboski will be at the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at Lumiere Place. A rough third costs Jaime tonight. Wong makes the right choice, and will have player reaction. Straight from the Cardinal clubhouse, Ryan Franklin on the hill for the Cards. We go back to the booth, and Dan and Rick, guys.
5-2, Toronto with the lead. Thank you, Jim. Second inning of work here for Ryan Franklin. It had been 10 days since his last appearance, and he had a 1-2-3 eighth inning. Jaime Garcia, 7 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 1 earned run. That was it, just 1 earned run, 4 walks, one of those intentional. Did give up a home run, and 95 pitches tonight for the left-hander, Jaime Garcia. Encarnacion, deep fly, and it's gone.
Encarnacion almost went deep his last at bat. That was against Jaime Garcia. This one, there's no almost about it. Our Nissan drive of the game. There's that full extension, a little bit more forward and through that one, and he just hit that ball a ton. The long ball has been part of the problem with Ryan Franklin this year.
40,289 here tonight. 40289. And here is Davis. Blue Jays trying to make it 2 wins in a row. Rounder hit to short. Terrio makes the play. Some changes for the Cardinals defensively behind Ryan Franklin. Pete Kozma is your second baseman. Schumacher moves to right. John Jay moves to left. Cardinals will have Rasmus, Molina, and Descalso due up.
That's the 8th home run that Ryan Franklin has given up in 26 innings.
Here's Corey Patterson. It's now a 6-2 Blue Jays lead. Encarnacion, the home run measured at 394 feet. It's a game of second guessing, as you know, Rick. And you wonder in the mind of Tony La Russa if he says to himself, did I make the right choice in bringing Franklin back out for one more inning after having a 1-2-3? You know, is it something you say to yourself, should I have left him just feeling good about the outing and build upon that?
Yeah, and if your answer is that you cannot trust Ryan Franklin to go back out for a second inning, I think you've got a bigger problem.
Good point. Patterson, a swing and a miss. And there's 2 away.
And I think he's still steaming over the strikeout to Matt Holliday, which resulted in him being ejected. 2 pitches he didn't like. The Cardinals had a rally going in the 8th inning. It was just a 5-2 game at the time. And then you've got the guys coming up you want coming up, other than the guy on the disabled list who you'd also like coming up, Mr. Pujols. But Holliday strikes out, then Berkman bounces into a 4-6-3. One thing about Ryan Franklin, you remember early in the season, he gave up a home run, and he said it was his get-me-over curveball, and it ended up a home run. I believe it was opening day, in fact. And he said, well, I really learned something about that get-me-over pitch. But I think Frankie's been doing that some this year, just maybe a little shell-shocked at times if the first pitch he throws to a batter is hit. He's just trying to get ahead with a strike instead of maybe picking at those corners. And that's really, when Frankie's good, that's what sets him apart. He can throw the ball to both the outside half and the inside half with movement. Down the middle just doesn't work for him.
Kelly Collier helping us out tonight, doing a very fine job. There's a fly ball into rights for the 3rd and final out here in the top of the 9th. Colby coming up when we come back. And Colby Rasmus will lead it off. Blue Jays with a 4-run lead as we move to the bottom of the ninth. Understand the rain is in the area, but it has not started yet here in downtown St. Louis, at least at the ballpark. These fans have been disappointed now. Cardinals took 2 of 3 against Kansas City. Phillies took 2 of 3. And now the Blue Jays on the verge of taking the first 2 of this series. And Ricky Romero going tomorrow, very good left-hander.
Cardinals would go with a loss today to 4-4 in interleague play, and they would drop to just 4 games over 500 and potentially lose another game to Milwaukee. They have a 10-1 lead. And really, with Albert out, Dan, you're just hoping that the team could just kind of stay in the hunt, not put together too big of a losing streak, try to win most of your series and go into the All-Star break within a couple of games, and then worry about the second half of the season after some rest.
How about Pittsburgh? They're tied with Cincinnati. 3 games back overall and 2 games behind St. Louis at the start of play.
And it's almost as if Pittsburgh's not necessarily winning to go up the standings. Everybody else is coming down and meeting them at mediocrity.
That pitch right there was a strike on Holiday last inning.
Could not agree more.
The 2-1 pitch. Colby hits it foul and out of play. With a rumbling from the crowd, from the lightning in the area. It's close. 2-2 pitch. 3-2. Three-two pitch to Colby Rasmus. Pitch at 95. There is lightning everywhere here in the area.
Yeah, it's getting a little closer too. Looks like it's coming from the north here. Skies certainly have gotten darker in downtown St. Louis. A little eerie. Wind starting to pick up a little bit. You can tell weather's coming.
Three-two is ripped fair by Rasmus. Off the sidewall. He will dig for 2. And in there safely, standing up. Leadoff double for Colby Rasmus.
One thing you can say about this Cardinal team all year long is they've had fight, and they have not really given up. Sometimes you come out on the short end of the stick, but you just want to go down swinging, and that's what Rasmus does here. We start the 9th. Pretty tough closer in the game right now for Toronto, one of their closers. And Rasmus with a very good at-bat. Worked the deep count, hit the ball hard.
Strike one on Molina. Wide out twice tonight. He's also singled and picked up an RBI. That RBI was number 29. Breaking ball for strike 2.
Yachty didn't seem to like that call, but that may have been residual anger.
And he blew it right by him. Strikeout of Molina for the first out.
Don't see Yachty strike out very much. Just inside the strike zone. Molina realizing he had to expand it a little bit because it's been a big zone, and well, it's not the umpire's fault. That is clearly the fact. Problem for the Cardinals was a 5-run Blue Jays 3rd inning. I'm going to blame it on our first-round draft choice, Colton Wong.
Sure, he appreciates that. First time to Busch Stadium, and you're blaming him for a loss. I'm sure at some point in his career, he's going to be blamed for some losses.
Of course. Might as well get him started.
An error here, error there, you never know.
Well, you agree to play this game, you realize you're going to put yourself on the line. Sometimes it's going to be good, sometimes it's not. You're going to take some heat, you're going to get some praise.
Scalzo, foul ball. And Rick, I know you appreciate this, but these guys, talk about the money that they make, which is obviously enormous sums of money, but still there is pressure to perform at this level and not to embarrass yourself. You're playing on national television essentially every night, and there's pressure in that. Pressure to stay here, live up to a contract. And these guys have so much pride in what they do. You wouldn't be here unless you had pride all the way through.
Well, you know, and sometimes you can handle it for yourself because you get the deal. But sometimes it's hard to go home and, you know, your kids are asking their mom, hey, why is everybody booing daddy? That's a different question. That's hard to take.
Descalso with a base hit out to left. They'll hold up Colby Rasmus. Now that home run looms large by Encarnacion.
You bet it does.
Starter tonight for the Blue Jays, Carlos Villanueva is our Budweiser player of the game. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and he struck out 3. No activity for the Blue Jays in their bullpen. It's Francisco's job right now to get the final 2 outs.
Villanueva is trying to go to 5-1 with a loss. Garcia would go to 6-3. You mentioned earlier, Dan, just one of those runs earned. Garcia's earned run average actually goes down with his outing tonight. And I would say he pitched okay, but could have helped out his defense a little bit better in that 3rd inning. And again, he deserved it with the walks to lead off that inning.
Andrew Brown at the plate. Tony Cruz is filled in quite nicely for the Cardinals as a backup. A lot of fans wondering about Matt Pagnozzi. Well, he wound up with the Rockies in their system and has just been called up. As a matter of fact, he played today and went 1 for 4.
Good for Matt.
1 ball, 1 strike. Thought Matt really handled himself quite well at the end of last year, not only with the glove, he's a catch and throw guy, but also with his bat. And it's starting to rain here at the ballpark, and that's it out of play.
The rain is light, but the lightning is getting closer. And the fans are torn right now. Tying run on deck. Rooting for my Cardinals, but I'm seeing some lightning and I'm feeling some rain. I'm getting out of here.
1-2 here on Brown. 2 down. Final hope is Schumacher. For 3 tonight with a single back in the 5th. And Skip taps it out to the pitcher. Steps in, throws it away.
How about that?
Rain is picked up even more here at Busch Stadium.
Sometimes things are just too easy. Error on Francisco. A little two-hopper right back to him. Game's over. All he's got to do is pick it up. All kinds of time. Throws it in the dirt. Good hustle by Schumacher.
It's a very light rain here at the ballpark. Certainly could play through this right now with 2 outs. Runners at first and third. Terrio represents the tying run. Strike 2.
Looking ahead with hopefulness. If Terrio can get on and John Jay can get on, we have no Matt Holliday in this game.
Just joining us, he was ejected. As Terrio hits it off the pitcher's glove, but the play is made, and Toronto has taken the first 2 of this series.
Unfortunately, the Cardinals just not playing very good baseball right now. Blue Jays with 5 runs in the 3rd inning. Garcia, I would say